Do you wonder about past lives? Have you ever thought about where your soul has been, where it's going, or what lessons and memories have been gathered along the way? In this podcast, we will discuss past life memories, psychic phenomena, energy healing, and other metaphysical topics with experts and the average person to find out how we can heal through these experiences. So I invite you to join me on my journey. Welcome to the Regression Session. That will just like go blah, 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 and they'll just like start interrupting people. And I'm like, why even have them on your show? Welcome back to the Regression Session. My name is Ian, and welcome to the Regression Session. To any new listeners, thanks for tuning in. We love you. I apologize for getting this episode out late. I have been laid up in bed for like 5 days and I still kind of sound a little sick, but I feel guilty for not uploading to you guys. So I'm out here putting in the work. Before we get started, don't forget to follow me in your podcast player so you don't miss any of my bi-weekly uploads. I usually try to stay on schedule with that. Don't forget to share the podcast around with all your friends and family so we can grow the community. And if you don't mind, if you like this episode of the podcast, please give me a great rating and a great review in your podcast player. I've partnered up with Dr. Bruce Koloski, the former president of the American Association for Hypnotherapy, to help up-and-coming hypnotherapists get a board certification for past life regression hypnotherapy and or clinical hypnotherapy. To take advantage of this, you can check out the link below and let Dr. Koloski know that you found out about him through my show, and you can receive 25% off that board certification. So definitely check out that link. This week, we're going to be hearing from Julie and Kat, also known as the Sun Sisters. We're going to be talking about human design, a little bit about Julie and Kat. After discovering human design a few years ago and experiencing its transformative power in their own lives, they felt called to become readers and guide others on their journey of self-discovery. Human design aims to help people understand their unique energy type and build and the construction of their energy, their gifts and their purpose in life. And it teaches you how to live in alignment with your true selves, your energetic self and your physical self. So it really is a kind of a map, even more in depth than astrology, I think, at getting down to the nitty-gritty of basically what you're built to do in this life. So without further ado, let's jump right into my conversation with the Sun Sisters. Hey guys, thanks for coming on to the show.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Just before we get started, if you two could tell me just a little bit about yourselves so my audience can get to know you, that would be fantastic. And then we can just jump right into it.
Okay, well, we are sisters. We are the Sun Sisters, Julie and Kat. I'm Kat. We discovered human design a few years ago and decided to become readers. And it has completely transformed our lives, and we are so eager and excited to share it with everybody.
So who discovered it though?
Like initially, or
yeah, who was the one that was like, oh my God, check out what I found?
Human design, look what I found. It was me. I actually randomly ran into it on Instagram, and I looked at my chart and I found my human design type, and it blew me away. And I think even the same day I texted Julie and asked her if she'd ever heard of it.
And you texted me like, have you ever heard of human design? And I was like, is that like interior, like some sort of interior design? Like, why are like, no, I don't know what this is. That sounds stupid. And I almost like wanted to be like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And you're like, look up your chart, just do it. And then tell me what it says for you, like what your type is in your profile or something like that, I think is what we were like basically going off of in the beginning. And then I did. And then we were like, what does that mean? And then we kept looking it up, researching it. And then like, finally I ended up buying a book on it. Cause I was like, it's so complex and like one website doesn't give you everything. And I just need one resource that I can go to figure out all these things. Cause I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at. When you look at your chart, it's super, super complicated. You know, it's all these aspects and lines and numbers. And so the book really helped. And then ever since then, it's like whatever conversation we have, it always turns into a human design conversation.
So it's safe to say you guys are like really, really into this.
We are really, really into this. I would say there's not any conversation we have that doesn't circle back somehow to a human design aspect.
And I think when we start, when it turns into that and we're around other people, I think there's like this like emotional eye roll sometimes
from other people. Yes.
Like an exasperated eye roll.
Yeah.
They're just like, not again. I get that all the time. They're like, Ian, shut up. Stop talking about yourself and your podcast. And I'm like, but we got to plug, man. And you guys got to plug, right? You got to like get people to come to you for a human design reading and then they'll understand finally.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what the hell is human design? I didn't know forever. I never even knew it existed.
Right. So it is the science of self-discovery through differentiation. So basically, it's how and why we're all different and we're all unique and we're all individuals. And it kind of provides a roadmap of how to be your authentic self. Like, who are you? How are you to make decisions? What's your life purpose? What are your natural gifts? And how to move through life in a way that's energetically correct for you. So it's very specific. Similar to astrology, but astrology is a little bit more general. This is like specific things. And I feel like no matter what, anybody that we talk to about it, there is some sort of resonance with them, with something in their chart. Anything to say to that?
I think that most people, anytime that we start doing a reading or even just look up somebody's chart to see some aspect of it, everyone is always blown away at how accurate it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
detailed.
Human design really does combine multiple ancient modalities together, zodiac being one of them. And as far as zodiac goes, most people don't fight their zodiac sign. They say everyone is very accepting of like, I am a Scorpio, I am a Cancer, I am an Aquarius, or whatever it is. And you do resonate with certain qualities of that zodiac sign. Human design takes that and way amplifies it into accuracy and specificity, and how you could have two Cancers and they are night and day on the way that they are supposed to make decisions and navigate the world, navigate relationships, and feel in alignment.
Right, because their bodies are different too. Right, like just because they pick the same, let's just say, blueprint. Like I look at astrology as like a blueprint kind of a deal where you pick kind of like this pre-designed set of, or you can look at it as like a video game character building for the younger people that listen to my show, right? Like you pick a certain set of stats to start with, but then you can level up any way you want to. Whereas, but like this human design is like a guide on how to level up.
That is a perfect description. I really like the blueprints. I've never, we tend to use the word roadmap, but it's similar concept.
It's like an outline. It's like the difference between an outline would be astrology, and then like the chapters are like human design. Like it's more detailed, more in depth,
right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. And Dolores Cannon talked about like astrology being like legitimate and how we select the astrology signs and you know exact circumstances of our birth because it kind of imprints a certain set of
we'll just call it like stats onto you. And then, yeah, so this is like a level up guide on how you can best move through your life. And I remember, Julie, you reached out to me and you're like, hey, I do human design, and I feel like you would really benefit from one. And I was like, well, what the hell is that? So it was really, really interesting that, like, now that you've brought it up, I'd never seen it before at all, and now I've seen it everywhere. Like, it's like kind of catching on, I think.
Yeah, and it is a fairly new field. Would that be the right word?
Study?
Modality
Study. It is fairly new.
It was. It came about in the 80s. It was channeled by Ra Uruhu. There were 8 days where he was living, and he channeled this message from what he called the voice. And I don't know how he channeled it or what he did, or he wrote everything down, but it was basically this blueprint of human design. And the reason why it came about in the 80s was because apparently, like, humanity wasn't at a point in time where we were willing to accept or like hear the messages or like actually understand this type of thing. But as the collective is moving towards this like new age, it actually is like much more common. It's much more acceptable.
Yeah, people are like seeking it out too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's interesting. So let's talk about like my chart, because I feel like people are gonna want to know that, and I can literally like pull up my chart that you made for me. It was super in depth, and like if you would have just like sent me this, like, here you go, here's your chart, I would have been like, okay, thanks, nice knowing you, and I would have just moved on, because I would have no absolutely
Really
no clue.
Walk you through the entire chart and explain every little aspect of it. Yeah,
you really do, because it's got like the foundation chart. It's got like, it calls me a generator, right? And one of the things that really kind of blew my mind is, hold on, I have it open right here. It says like my cognition, and this, you really hit on these, and it was like boom, 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 and I was like, wow. So my audience is going to get to know me a little bit more in this episode. So like you said, that the way that I best digest things is like hot, right? And,
yeah, like the way to eat.
Right, the way that I digest things, the way that things go, like the easiest way they will move through my body and stuff like that. And you said it's like hot. You said my best sense is smell, and then my environment that I enjoy being in is like caves, kind of like a man cave. And then I was like, wow, because I eat my food burning hot. Like if let's just say I made like a plate or a tray of brownies, right? I would take it out and I'd want to throw it right in my mouth right out of the oven. Well, why is it even worth eating a brownie if it's not going to burn your mouth in half? That's how I feel. Right? And then I also have like a really good sense of smell. And then like I'm in a little tiny room right now with a blanket over the window, so it's kind of dark, and I was like, wow, that's been my whole life, is like living in a cave.
Living in a cave with a nice smell and hot food. What more could you ask for?
I'm sure everybody, like other people out there, are probably like, ew, that sounds disgusting.
It's funny, we all think that everybody's the same as us, but really when you dive, it's like, no, we're all different. What were you gonna say?
I actually don't remember, but so if you're going to look at, so like those pieces of your chart that really resonated with you and you found really accurate that is like way into the detail of the chart. There are so many other things, obviously, that we could point out that would be also really accurate for you. But just for instance, if you take that, your environment, caves, there are 12 different environments in human design. So, and then there are 12 different cognitions. So yours might be smell. Yours is smell also, right, Julie? Mm-hmm. Yours is also smell. Mine is touch, though.
There's 6 cognitions.
There are 6 different cognitions.
But then you combine it with the other one. It makes, yeah.
We're getting a little complicated in here. But all of this is to say that just because you really like to eat hot food doesn't mean that everybody likes to eat hot food or is really drawn to that. Some people have cold cognition, are mom is cold. So she is supposed to be eating cold things and cold salad. And that really, cold salad, she loves eating salad. But that is very unique to her. And it's not unique to anyone else sitting here right now.
Yeah.
When you think that there's a piece of you, like, well, everybody could be like this. If you could even go beyond that to how you learn things, mm-hmm. Not everyone is going to learn the same. Not everyone's going to eat the same thing. Not everyone wants to be in a cave. And recognizing that and realizing that there is so much about humans that is energetically different and uniquely different, it's very eye-opening.
And I think we're conditioned most of our lives to fall into this, like, what they call homogenization, where it's like all trying to be the same. And it really leads to this conditioning. It's like we're all taught at a young age, like, if you have a goal, you go out and you initiate and you make things happen. But that's not correct for me. Like, I'm supposed to, like, wait until something comes my way and then I respond to it. And it really makes so much sense when you look at it. It's like, well, that might be correct for like 30% of the population, but for me, that's not. And so I'm kind of going to get rid of that. I'm going to stop subscribing to that method.
Yeah, to quote this dude that I had on my show a few episodes back, his name's Andy Sway. He said that everybody in the world is basically trying to pretend that they're not weird, but they totally are. Mm-hmm. And if they could just like accept that they're weird, their life would be a lot easier. and I love what you're like. Yeah, I love that whole thing. What I like about, go ahead.
So normally wherever whatever gate Uranus is activating on your chart, it's kind of like the same gate that like makes you weird, makes you unique. And I always like telling people, like, this is your weird gift that like makes you stick out and makes you and like embrace it and embrace your weirdness. Cause I feel like, I don't know, it's good to remember that we're all kind of quirky.
So while we're talking about it, what is his Uranus gate? Since we're talking about his chart and his.
Yeah, just lay my entire soul out for my audience.
He has gate 60, the gate of acceptance, which is accepting. It kind of works as like an arrow, where you pull back and you gain the momentum during this pause, and then you release, and then the arrow moves forward with momentum. And so gate 60 is really about that pullback and that break and that pause. It's like, I know there's all these limitations and I can't transcend them right now, so I'm just going to take a break. Or, just realizing when just shit's not working out and like, hey, we're going to let this one sit on the back burner for a minute.
Dude, that didn't make sense to me.
Specific gate.
That didn't make sense to me when you read me my chart back in what, like
October or something?
October? Yeah,
was it November and October? I don't know.
I think it was November, because here's the thing is like when you reached out to me, I had been taking a break from my show for like 3 months, right? I was actually considering quitting the show because I was doing it weekly, right? And that I was getting so freaking burned out. I was driving my wife nuts because it was like, I have a commitment to my audience and I have to do this. And that was before I knew about like the, how much momentum my show was actually getting. And so I was just like not doing it at all. And so you said that, and I was like, yeah, okay, that doesn't really make sense. But like when you just said it, I got an email from my hosting platform for the podcast, and they're like, hey, congratulations, you just like reached the top 10% of Followed and Shared podcasts globally. And I was like, no way, I haven't been doing shit. I was like, I've just been sitting around doing nothing. And then I looked at it, and now I'm like really getting after it. And like I have like 15 episodes like pre-recorded and ready to go, and I'm doing it bi-weekly. I'm just really getting it, and a lot of stuff just kind of fell into place. So now that you say that again, I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. It's crazy because it's actually accurate. What I really like about human design is like when you go into an astrology reading, they're like, okay, here's like your background software that you built into your system, right? And it's like, here's like your built-in personality aspects, which human design has that. But then what it also, at least what you guys, or what you did for me, Julie, is you said, here's like some strategies that you can implement in your life and how to like align with your build. And astrology doesn't necessarily do that.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about that, because I really like that. I like the strategy part of it.
So we were actually kind of smiling when you were telling that story, because that is one of the biggest things that we've dealt with too, like just realizing our own design, realizing how burnt out we were because we were not using our strategy. We didn't even know what that meant. And we were being led to places that weren't correct for us and really pushing ourselves to work and work and work when it just, the energy wasn't there for that. We needed to take a break, and the break actually builds the momentum so you can keep going. So, yeah, to answer your question, every type in human design, there's 5 different energy types. And yours being a generator, it's one of the most common ones. I'm a generator as well. And then each energy type has a specific strategy. And the strategy really does explain, like, if you do this strategy, you're going to increase more attraction to you. So if you're using your strategy in a correct way, you're going to be attracting things to your field that are correct and aligned and right for you. And if you're using your strategy not in the best way, then you're going to be attracting those types of things for you. And for generators, your strategy is to respond. So it's really waiting for a moment, not necessarily waiting, but you're literally responding in the present moment to something that is outside of yourself. What is in front of me right now? How does my body feel about it? And really tuning into your body and your sacral response, and do I want to do this XYZ? Do I not want this? Really feeling the energy inside your body. Like if you feel like shut down and like tense and tired by thinking about this task that's in front of you, that's a huge sign that that's probably not energetically correct for you. But if you are looking at this task, like making coffee in the morning, and you're like, I'd rather just go to Starbucks, and you feel actually energized by the thought of going to Starbucks, and you feel good and light and like expansive, and like you want to just kind of like magnet, like it's like there's this magnetic pull towards Starbucks, then that's a sign that that's correct for you. And that's actually, your body is guiding you to be in the correct place at the correct time. And then maybe you get into Starbucks and you run into an old friend that you haven't seen since high school. And it's like you guys reconnect. It's like there's a reason why your body was telling you to go that way, and trusting it and really tuning into it. And so every strategy, every type is going to have a different strategy. And understanding your type, your strategy, and how to make decisions is like the 3 biggest things you could take away from human design, in my opinion. Did you want to add anything to that?
I mean, I'm not a generator, so I'm a projector, which is different, and it's a different type of energy field, and I have a completely different strategy. So as a projector, my strategy, so the generator strategy is to respond. You're responding to what is in front of you. As a projector, my strategy is to wait for the invitation. So I am literally waiting for someone to invite my energy into their space. So this shows up. I mean, I could look back across my entire life and realize that every great thing that happened in my life was a result of an invitation that I accepted. And the times where I was trying to push and initiate things and make things happen and work really hard and kill myself to accomplish a task, if I just stopped and waited for somebody to say, hey, would you like me to help you with that? Or, hey, I have a better proposition for you. Like, oh, this feels so much, but this is in alignment for me. This is
Easy.
This is so easy. Everything flows so easily, rather than this mass resistance to, the condition to push and push and push to make things happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I was just thinking about how to like structure what I'm gonna say next, because like I bet everybody's gonna feel called out when I say this, but people suck at making decisions for the most part. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like like especially me and it drives my wife absolutely insane. It's like I had a conversation with my wife recently about this, and she's like, when I ask you like what do you want to have for dinner, and you say I don't know, it's like, how much mental stress that puts on me when I have to take care of the kids and blah blah blah. And not to minimize my wife's experience or anything, right? And I was like, you know what, you're absolutely right. And so I've been trying to like be more assertive, and I've actually referred back to this chart thing where it's like, what does my body want? And so I'm like, what I told her is, I'm like, hey, what you should do for me is like tell me what's on the menu that is set up for like the next couple weeks, and just list off things, and I'll just say no, yes, right? It's like, yes, that's what I want. Because she doesn't it's hard for her to take care of the kids all day, make sure the house is clean, and then decide what's for dinner or whatever. And so if people can learn like what the best way is for them to like feel aligned to make a decision, that's powerful, man, because it just takes away so much stress and anxiety. Because it's like, man, do I want to hang out with I'm sure everybody's felt this way. Like, do I want to hang out with my friends? I got invited out and I said yes like 2 weeks ago, and oh God, I just don't want to go. And so then they can just be like, no, I don't want to hang out.
So one of the biggest things that you said is, and I feel like every couple is going to have this like experience. What sounds good for dinner? It's an open-ended question. And for generators or anybody that has a defined sacral center, like you need closed-ended questions, because the sacral really responds to yes and no. And so if you can ask the question in a way that you can answer it as a yes and no, that it's going to help you get to that decision a lot quicker. Like, do you want to eat takeout, or do you want delivery, or do you want to eat something at home? Okay. Do you want pizza, or do you want spaghetti? Or do you want pizza? Yes or no? No. Okay. Do you want spaghetti? Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. But yes, the yes and no questions for anybody that is a generator or a manifesting generator is really going to be crucial and help those decisions like become a lot easier if you're able to ask it in a way like that. Do you want to say anything?
I just feel like we're starting to say different types, so I thought maybe we could just say all the 5 types right now, just so we can kind of clear the air a little
that's
bit.
great.
Yeah. So there are 5 types. The first type is a manifester. It's pretty rare. It's like 10% of the population. Then there's a generator, which is the most common. Then there's a hybrid of the two. So there's a manifesting generator. So it's like a generator with a little bit higher energy. And they're initiating and responding, instead of a manifester is the initiator, the generator is the responder, then a manifesting generator is kind of a combination of both. So the greatest population of the human population globally is generators and manifesting generators. So together, they're like 70% of the human population. So probably most people listening to this right now are going to fall within those two. The final two are a projector and a reflector. So the projector is about 20% and a reflector is only 1%. Reflectors are really rare. I think we only know one person that's a reflector, but, so as a projector, I like open-ended questions. I want you to ask my opinion. I want you to, hey, what would you like to eat? Oh, I would love to tell you what I want to eat and where I want to go and how I want to feel at the end of it. And I'm going to guide us down this path of the most delicious dinner we've ever had. But not everyone's like that. So here we've got you and Julie that are, do you want pizza? No. Where I'm like, I would really like to have something cheesy and warm and comforting. And I want to feel like a warm hug when I'm done eating. Yeah, that's.
See, I don't want to talk about any of that. I just want to eat in silence and be done with it.
Oh, that's right. In your cave with scalding
in my
hot
cave
food.
alone, right? I totally, I get you, Julie. I know what you're talking about, right? We're both like whatever the generator, That's what I am. I just saw it. So one thing you guys have mentioned a couple times now, and for like clarification's sake for anybody listening, you've been talking about a sacral response. And what that essentially means is, if you've studied the chakra system at all, you have your 7 basic chakras, and the sacral is like the second one from the bottom, or it's like you have your root chakra, then you have the sacral, and the farther down in your energy you go, the more primal you're gonna get. So the sacral deals with like pleasure responses, creativity, things like that. And so like when we're talking about like a sacral response, it's talking about like your gut instinct kind of a thing, where it's like your gut answer is like yes or no. That's kind of what, for anybody who's listening that was kind of confused about what a sacral response is, I just wanted to clarify about what that is. And then the next thing I wanted to bring up is when I felt called out when you read my chart to me. Because
you did?
Not that much, just a little bit. But there was like, I guess in the liver center. Spleen. I don't know. It's on the left side of my chart.
Spleen.
Yeah, there's like 4 red spots, and it's like, you were like, yeah, that's a lot of fear. You have a lot of fear in there. And I was like, wow, thanks a lot for calling me out on that. So what's the deal with that? Like, what's the deal with like the different centers, and you called them gates? And I know this could be confusing for people, but it's interesting to know like how in depth it is, and then we can wrap it back up later. So let's just get into the nitty gritty. What are the gates, and like why'd you call me out about being so afraid of my life?
So first of all, for anyone listening and you have no idea what we're talking about and what gates and centers and charts and all of that, I would pause this and go get your free chart.
You can go to our website at sunsistershd.com. Click on the 3 lines at the top left of the page, and then select Get Your Free Chart. Scroll down a little bit, and it'll let you enter in all of your information. But you do need your birth information, your time of birth.
You need the exact time of birth. Most people already know their location and date, but you do need the exact time of birth. The more accurate you can get, the better. If you don't have the exact time of birth for yourself. But once you download that, and you don't have to create an account or anything, it will just generate it immediately for you. You can see your chart, and it will tell you your energy type, if you're a manifestor or a projector or a generator, etc. And then you'll see the entire body graph chart with all of the centers that look kind of like the chakra system, but a little different. And then a whole bunch of lines on there, which is the gates. And then I'll let Julie talk about the rest of it.
Yeah. So the centers, they do it. Human design does use the chakra system, except in the human design system, there are 9 centers instead of 7. And so the extra 2 centers is the spleen, which is the triangle that's located on the lower left hand side of the body graph. And then it's the will center, which is the small triangle on the right, the smaller, higher triangle on the right hand side of the body graph.
That looks out of place.
Yeah. It looks like it's just kind of displaced next to the column, the center line of the rest of them. I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So
mine's empty. The smaller triangle.
Yep.
I have no willpower. Is that what that means?
No. So if you're looking at your body graph, and the shapes, like the squares and the triangles and the diamonds, those are the centers, like the chakras. And if the center is white and it's not colored in, that means there's no definition in that center, which means that it basically describes how you use the energy, or how that energy comes to you in that center. If it's undefined, you're pulling in the energy from outside of yourself and you're amplifying it. Now, if that center is colored in your chart, then you have consistent energy within that center. You're creating that energy within your body, and you're giving it out to the world. And then somebody with no definition is pulling in that energy and amplifying it within themselves. So it's kind of like this give and take between people.
It's like an energy exchange between those centers.
Yeah.
And then the gates are what? If someone went and created their own human design chart, and they see all these dots and lines, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, so within each center, there's a bunch of little numbers, and those are the gates. And if you have a line, like a colored in line, like black or red, that is connected to one gate, that's having definition in that gate. That means that you have consistent energy within that specific thing. That's going to be something that you generally resonate with, or is like a natural gift that you have access to on a consistent basis. And then anywhere where there is no definition, or the line just shows up as white, you don't have that in your chart. You're kind of pulling in the energy from other people.
So when we get to the part where it's, I guess you call it the foundation chart. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
When you get to the foundation chart, basically this is a map of your energetic makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. That makes sense to me.
So there's 64 gates total, and each gate is a different characteristic that anybody could have. So if that gate is colored, then you have that, and you have that because at the time of your birth, a planet activated that gate to create that on your chart. If that might be getting a little deep here, but so, and it all lines up with the zodiac. So if your sun sign is Cancer, if your sun sign is Cancer, then at the time of your birth, wherever the sun is that activates that gate, that is going to be your sun gate, and that will show up defined on your chart. So it all lines up exactly with a traditional astrological
zodiac.
Why can't I say this word? Astrological birth chart. It all lines up, overlaps perfectly.
Yeah.
With the chakra system and...
Right. They're all interwoven into this like massive web. It's not just like stacked on top of each other and then we just pull a layer back. No, it's like you can't talk about one without intertwining it with like the others.
Right.
As I'm
so it's
crocheting. It's like a crochet. Yeah.
So like on mine, and I might like throw a picture up of my actual chart in the artwork of this episode, so people can just look at my soul. But in the spleen area, there's like 4 gates, and you were telling me that I'm like those. That's like a bunch of fear responses.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the sacral, there's 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that pretty common? I feel like I have I don't know.
I was telling you like fast. I had a hard time counting those really fast.
I know, right?
You did that really well. Okay.
Yeah, so the spleen is the center for intuition, and it's a lot of times the energies from the center can come across as fears. And so since you have definition, so your entire spleen is undefined.
Which means that it's not colored in.
It's not colored in. You take on energy from others around you that have definition in the spleen. So maybe your instincts or your intuition changes depending on who you're around at the time. You might be pulling in energy, like maybe you're around your sister and she's super intuitive, or like something like that. And then you're around her and then like you feed on her energy and you kind of get this super intuition about yourself, like when you're in her presence. Or maybe you know somebody, like my husband has, I think he has like 4 or 5 channels. So he has definition. And so when I'm around him, it's like I feel this like primal, instinctual, like safety, like I'm going to take care of my family. Like I just see that that's not safe. And that's kind of like his energy. So I feed on that sometimes. But because yours is undefined, you're going to bring in the energy from outside of yourself and amplify it. However, you have definition in your gates. So those specific gifts and those specific gates are always going to be consistent for you. And that consistency can come across as a fear. So like you have gate 44, which is the gate of patterns. And I think that comes through as like a fear of the past repeating itself, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you said you resonated with that a lot, right?
Yeah, I did. For various reasons. That's super interesting.
I also have that gate, and as far as like the past repeating itself, I think that comes across as like you're always looking for how is this going to happen again? Like this happened to me before. How do I prevent that from happening again? So it is sort of fear based. Mm-hmm. It's almost like it's on your radar. Like, well, this has already happened 3 times before. I know already know it's going to happen.
It's like this constant thing in your head, almost, that you don't really think about.
Right.
Like background programming, background software.
Yep.
Annoying pop-ups. I hate that. It's so interesting, and it gets convoluted. So like anybody listening, like you can see why just pulling it up and like just look. I'm gonna put the picture of it on the actual like episode art so people can actually look at my chart for this foundation chart. And if you just look at it, if you sent this to me, I'd be like, what?
Exactly.
What's going on with this?
Like,
and yeah, it's crazy. And man, and there's even more to it too. Like we've been talking for a long time about it now, and there's even more to it because you sent me like a chart about like something about Rax Maya 4, whatever that means, and emotional authority. So what's the deal with like the emotional authority part of it? Because that comes after the chart, after the actual energetic makeup chart. It says emotional authority. So like, does that mean I have emotional authority, or like what's the deal with that?
Yeah. So the way that you want to look at your chart is first look at your type, your generator. Look at your strategy to respond. It's going to be the same. Like each type has their own strategy. And then your authority is how you make decisions. Like how are you designed to make decisions? And being that you have emotional authority, you're using your sacral response. You're being guided to the right situations. And then when it comes time to make a big decision, and I'm not saying like what to eat for dinner, but like big decisions, like do I want to quit my job? Do I want to move to a different city or state? Do I need to buy a new car? Anything that's like really big, you're going to have to use your emotional center to guide you. And the biggest thing with that is that you cannot make decisions when your emotions are high or low. They have to be totally neutral. And anybody that has definition in their emotional solar plexus, and that is the big triangle on the right-hand side towards the bottom, anybody that has definition in that area, that center, is going to have an emotional wave. And that wave is going to be different depending on where it's activated in your chart. But you're going to go through these natural highs and lows. And you really just want to tune in when it is time to make a decision. Like, am I at a neutral right now? Am I at a high, or am I at a low? Like, maybe I need to sleep on it. And that's the thing for a lot of people with emotional definition and emotional waves, is that if you have emotional definition, that will be your authority. That is like the hierarchy of all of them. Like that takes precedence over any other center. So, you really do have to allow yourself time and give yourself the grace to, hey, I need to sleep on this. I need a little bit more time to think about this. I'm not feeling energetically correct to make this decision right now. You have anything to add to that?
That's just my chart, right? Like you're reading, you're talking about mine. Because I'm sure that there's some people out there that are like, Ian, that's bullshit. You need to actually like think about it and use your head to make a decision, right? So everybody would be different. I bet there's somebody out there that when you were saying that, they're rolling their eyes. They're like, yeah, right. I'm not going to listen to my feelings. I need to make a logical choice about this.
Oh, that's,
really, there's so much to say on that.
We could really deep dive that, but we're going to stick on the emotional definition for right now. But so like Julie was saying, if you have a defined emotional solar plexus, you are going to have an emotional wave. The majority of people are going to have that as their authority, and they are making decisions based on their emotions and what is going to make them happy, what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So I think anybody who has that is probably knows that that's how they are. That I'm sure at some point in their life, they've made a decision when their emotions were really high or when their emotions were really low, and it probably didn't pan out very well. So it is best to get back to that neutral place and then make the decision. So this is somebody that really should be sleeping on it. Really, in human design, your head, which is the center at the very top of the chart, is not supposed to be your decision maker. Mm-hmm. You are supposed to make decisions from your authority, which will be different for everybody, but it is not supposed to come from your brain or from your head. It is supposed to come from your body. Your head is for inspiration. Your head is for ideas. Your head is for thoughts and creativity, but not for decisions on how to guide your energy through the world.
For instance, my authority is sacral, which is the next one down from emotional solar plexus. I don't have a defined solar plexus, but I do have a defined sacral because I'm a generator. And I really do have to ask myself yes or no. And what do I want? And really just like being alone with myself for a second and thinking about it, I can feel that energy in my body. And the second my brain starts ticking, it's like, okay, I just need to like move around a little bit and like release this energy because like my brain is kicking in and I'm not really being clear. I'm not letting my body talk to me. I'm letting my brain take over. Kat has splenic authority. So I think emotional authority, sacral, and splenic are going to be like the most common among people. There are other ones, but I think these are going to be the ones that most people have. But
so with the spleen being my authority, that means that my intuition is what is guiding me to make decisions. And I feel like that really resonates with me, especially when I hear generators and I hear Julie specifically talk about her sacral response. Well, I don't have a defined sacral center, so I don't have a sacral response and I have no idea what that feels like. So when she's like, oh yeah, it's like, yes, I want this. I'm like, oh, I don't know what that feels like.
But the question you ask yourself is this right for me?
Is this right for me? How does this feel in my body? And unfortunately, with the spleen, it is very quiet and it only answers once. So you really have to be very in tune. And I will say that is an ongoing practice for me to pause and stop and like, okay, what is my intuition telling me? What decision am I supposed to be making here? And of course, my brain takes over instantly when I get little intuitive hits all the time. And I brush them off and, oh, that's so silly that I even thought that. And then my brain starts thinking and thinking and thinking. And then suddenly I have no idea what decision I even wanted to make anyway. So it is a practice. Practice listening to your emotional wave, practice being aware of your emotional wave and when you're in the high, when you're in the low, so that you know when to make decisions accurately and what's best for your energy type. If you have sacral authority, making a decision like, do I want this? And listening to that gut response, mm-hmm. or listening to that tiny intuitive voice that's telling you yes or no.
The whisper.
Especially, it's only been a couple years since we have discovered human design. So it is a practice. It's an ongoing.
And it's an experiment too.
Yeah.
Like what does responding really mean to me? Is it waiting for a response, or is it kind of just understanding that something outside of me is giving me something to respond to? But really experimenting. Did I get the results I wanted with that experiment? Because if I did, then I was doing something good. I was doing something right. I was following my strategy, and really just taking inventory, every once in a while to see how you're doing. What does it mean for you? How do you feel with it? Are you getting the results that you want?
I feel like that there's like two things that are really good about this, and one of like probably in my opinion, as far as where my head's at, like the more powerful one is like learning how to make decisions with your body, because I feel like people are kind of scared of that just because of the way we've been conditioned in society. Like when I want to make a decision, for me it's almost like caveman, like ugh, 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 yes, that feels good, I like this. And then, but not everybody's gonna want to do that, man. You know, some people want to think about it or like know how they feel. For me, it's just like a gut yes or no.
Yeah.
You know, and then the second thing is like kind of, I think, highlighting your uniqueness, because everybody is unique. There's an energetic buildup of everybody that's unique. And I think one of the questions that I asked you when you actually like were doing the interpretation of the chart for me for the first time, I was like, so my chart's like pretty common, right? Like it's a pretty common chart. And I still kind of, I don't know. I feel like, so what, I guess the question I'm going to ask you is like, what would make me unique when I have all the same stuff? Like I have the most common type and the most common everything. Like what's to say that my chart isn't just like a rehash of all the most common information out there?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because everything that I have on mine is just like, oh, that's super common, but that could be like a generalization, right? So I guess like for my audience, what makes me unique?
So when we talk about the generators, that's the broadest category in human design. And then you get into the authority, which is still pretty broad. And then you get into a little bit more specifics, which is your profile, which is like your personality archetype. And then you get into like your actual gates, and each gate can be activated by a different planet. And then there's also like the line activation next to the gate. So it's the manner in which you are expressing this gift is going to be different. And the area in your life in which that gift is expressed, like if you have gate 17, which is the gate of opinions, and it's being activated by Mercury. Mercury is the planet for communication. So you are here to communicate your opinions. And it really is going to be a different blend. Just because two people have gate 60 on their chart doesn't mean they're expressed in the same ways. And it really is very specific, and literally nobody will have the same chart unless they were born at the exact same minute in the exact same place. Which makes me curious about twins. Like, even if they're a couple minutes apart, there's still going to be like a couple differences in their chart, probably.
Yeah.
So, like, when you get your chart, and links to create those, by the way, are going to be in the description. So anybody who wants to create their free human design chart, check out the links in the description. You can get your chart. It's going to start off as like more like the more broad overview of things, and then as it moves, like I guess like down or however it's laid out, depending on where you get it from, right? It's gonna be getting more and more specific. So like when I scroll all the way down, it says Raxmea 4, and then it has like a little description of that. So like, since we're already talking about mine, what's the deal with like those things? What's like the category where that Raxmea 4 comes in? Like what's that about? I don't even know what that means.
So the Raxmea 4, that is your incarnation cross, and your incarnation cross is kind of like your life purpose during this lifetime. It's kind of like responsible for about 70% of how you show up in the world. And
that's not the only one. Like the Raxmea 4 is not the only one. So depending on your chart, you'll get a different incarnation cross.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There's 90 something different incarnation crosses.
Jesus.
Yeah. But your incarnation cross is taken from your sun gates and your moon and your earth gates, and it is going to be how you show up in the world. So your specific incarnation cross, the cross of the Maya, is kind of like you're here to constantly like ask questions. You're here to open up people's minds by asking questions. And it's not necessarily about finding the answer. It's about always continuing to ask the question. And really for you, diving into the details of things, really speaking about the details, really learning the details, and then continuing to ask the question. That's going to be something that's going to be, it's going to help you the most. Diving into the details will help you ask more questions. And the other energies that you have for your cross,
She's looking at your chart
right now
because thinking about it as she's trying to say this.
I know we talked about this, but this was like 3 months ago. So you have continuity, success, and then growth. And so you're going to help people grow and understand where they are in their success and really be able to help people succeed by understanding where they are in their growth process, being able to dive into the details, continuing to ask questions. Now, your incarnation cross, it's called like your life purpose, but it's not really what you're here to do. It's how you're here to be. So no matter what, you could be an astronaut, you could be a policeman, you could be a lawyer. Any of those people can have a specific cross of incarnation, but it really is like, how do I show up to this party? Like, who am I going to be when I come into this career or whatever? And that explains it. Like, you are going to be the one that always asks questions. You are going to be the one that like goes into the details when other people don't. You're going to be the one that understands like what is going to succeed and what is not going to succeed. That's kind of an explanation of what the incarnation cross is. Do you have anything to add to that?
I think it's like for you specifically, it's like, it's not like that's something you have to strive to do. That's sort of like inherently in you.
Mm-hmm.
And most people are going to resonate with their incarnation cross like that. Like, oh, I do that. I do ask a lot of questions, like specifically you. So yeah, like you are here to continue to ask the questions and maybe push the envelope of like what else is out there. What is there to know? What else can I learn?
Mm-hmm.
What else can I show people? How else can we all grow?
It is the gate of mystery. So I said ask questions, but it really is diving into like the unknown things.
The mysterious.
Like, yes. Like, what don't we know?
I love this.
So I personally feel like that lines up with how I am, especially with my show and stuff. Like, there's some stuff that I've been researching that I'm not going to talk about on the air yet that I'll tell you guys about after. And I bet you'll be like, whoa. Because I'm not going to say why yet.
So I do want to say
it'll come soon.
I do want to say something to the audience. For those of you that are older, like me and Kat, that grew up in the 90s, there was this show.
Oh, that's not old.
Thank you for saying that. There was this show that we used to watch. These scare the shit out of us when we were kids, but it was Unsolved Mysteries, and it was the original Unsolved Mysteries. There is a remake on Netflix now, but it is a newer version. It's not as scary. But the guy that hosts the show, his name is Robert Stack, and my God, his voice was just like this eerie, like we would listen to it and then have to go to bed right after. And I swear to God, we were like scared to like sleep with the lights off. It just, his voice is so mysterious, and I don't know. He has the same incarnation cross as you. And I just, every time I kept looking at your gates, and being gate 61 is the gate of mystery, and that being your personality sun gate, like I kept thinking of Unsolved Mysteries. And then it was just so random that I found that same guy that hosted that show has that same incarnation cross as you. And it just like felt so fitting. I was like, yeah, this was totally appropriate.
This matches. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So for anybody listening, let me know if you think that lines up with me. And if you do think it's lines up with me, definitely reach out to Julie and Kat to get your breakdown of your chart, because they do a fantastic job. I know it's very convoluted sounding, but it's really cool. And like learning more about yourself and learning how to make decisions is really important, because I guarantee you a lot of you suck at making decisions, because I do. And I don't know, maybe I'm off base here. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just going to roll with it. Fight me. Anyway, so you guys, anything else to add about me? Any roasting you want to do about my chart? Anything like that?
Roasting. We're not going to roast you.
So I do want to say, because I don't know if we did this when I was dissecting your chart a couple months ago, but I like to look up other people, like famous people that have like similarities with you in your chart. Did I tell you? I don't think I did. I think I mentioned
You did tell
Robert.
me about the Unsolved Mysteries dude.
I did say that, but I don't think I mentioned anyone else. So I looked this up, and there's a few people that you might have heard of. So one of them is Rush Limbaugh. Does that sound
Okay?
Just nodding his head.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I know that. I know who that is.
Naomi Judd, Alexander Hamilton.
Oh my.
Hamilton.
I love that song.
And Jeff Bezos.
Oh God.
You all have the same incarnation cross profile. Like, it's the basis of your personality is going to be similar driving.
So I think that this is kind of a good, like, to circle back. I hate saying that, but to circle back to your question, like, what makes me unique compared to if I have the most common type and the most common authority and the most common strategy?
Right.
Well, I think if you could look at Jeff Bezos and Alexander Hamilton, would you say that those two people are similar? Probably not. They seem like night and day. So even though they have the exact same incarnation cross, the rest of their chart is probably completely different. So even though you may have the most common type and the most common authority, it doesn't mean that you are like everyone else that's walking around next to you.
Way to bring it full circle. That was fabulous. And
That was good.
on that note, what do you guys got going on? Like, where can people contact you to get a dissection of their chart?
So we've got all the socials, Facebook and Instagram. It's sunsistershd. And people can visit our website at sunsistershd.com or email us at sunsistershd@gmail.com. And that's sunsistershd, like H as in human, D as in design.com.
Perfect. And links to all those will be found in the description. Definitely reach out to Sun Sisters Human Design to get your human design dissection. It's actually really fun. I'm serious about that. I had a really fun time, and I went and told my wife, I was like, babe, you got to check out my chart so you can understand me better. And then, anyway, definitely do it. And I'm going to say to you guys, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit and say, do you have a message you'd like to leave for my audience? Inspirational words, if you will.
Yeah. So the greatest gift that you can give yourself and the greatest gift that you can give the world is to just show up as you and to be your authentic self. And when you're aligned and you show up as your true self, you attract things that are good for you, that are right for you. And the more that you understand how you're here to operate energetically, the more you leave space for other people to be them true selves. So it really is this like collective growth, this like collaboration. It's a win-win-win, really.
I don't know what else I can add on to everything you just said, because that was like perfect. But I think that human design really changed my life. It opened my eyes to who I am. It put language to the parts of me that I knew were correct, but I didn't know how to explain it. And being able to explain it and to be able to honor my authentic self has helped me show up authentically and opened so many doors for me in my life. And I think it's the greatest gift that I've received.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming onto my show. I really, really appreciate your time and taking the opportunity to talk about this. And I think it's going to be really impactful for people who decide to go and get their chart and get a reading or a dissection or whatever you want to call it from you guys. So like I said, definitely reach out to these wonderful, wonderful people. And thank you so much again for coming on my show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. It was a pleasure.
That's it for today's episode. I would like to thank the Sun Sisters for coming on to my podcast, and I would also like to thank you for tuning in. Definitely head over to sunsistershd.com to get your human design chart. Definitely don't forget to share the podcast around with everybody that you know in the entire world. Don't forget to click follow in your podcast player. Don't forget to give me a great rating and a great review. If you want to check out the board certification for past life regression or clinical hypnotherapy, head to the link in the description to talk to Dr. Kowalski about a 25% off. And if you want to come on my show, shoot me an email. My email is theregressionsession@gmail.com, and I would love to have you on my show.